a U.S. Air Force F-111F, is designed to fly low and hit hard. The F-111's pilot is seated to the left. On his right is the Weapon Systems Operator, or WISO, whose job is to manage the extensive electronic systems. Thanks to a device called terrain-following radar, the F-111 pioneered the modern method of low-level attack, in which the aircraft is automatically made to maneuver, if necessary at full throttle, only just above the ground. The F-111 also pioneered the variable sweep swing wing. Despite all its original avionics, today's F-111 needs more. The most important add-on is PaveTac, a massive pod carried under the aircraft's belly, which provides the WISO with pictures enabling him to acquire, track, and hit any target in any kind of weather or at night. Such equipment was used by F-111s during the raid on Libya in 1986. The first PaveTac view shows the approach to the Libyan coast. This is followed by a low-level run over Tripoli, including the Aziziyah barracks. Finally, the PaveTac's FLIR, or forward-looking infrared sensor, picks up Soviet-made Ilyushin-76 transports on the military side of Tripoli Airport. As the aircraft passes over them, they are hit by bombs. The mighty F-111 can reach out to great distances and drop ordinary slicks exactly on target from a height of 200 feet in a snow blizzard, and that is enough to worry any potential enemy. There could hardly be a greater contrast than the little Douglas A-4 Skyhawk, variously known as the Scooter, the Bantam Bomber, and in honor of its designer, Heineman's Hot Rod. The A-4 has a wing so small that it does not need to fold, even though the Skyhawk was designed for carrier operations. It played a major role in the Vietnam War, especially the tandem two-seat TA-4F version, operated as a forward air control aircraft by the Marines, usually from land bases. Able to carry a weapon load of up to 9,000 pounds, the A-4s mainly used napalm, slicks, snake eyes, and missiles, amongst them 2.75-inch rockets fired from the center fuselage hardpoint. These rockets, and the bigger Zunis, were sometimes used with special pyrotechnic or smoke warheads to mark the location of surface targets. Skyhawks played a major part in the Middle East, flying with the Israeli Air Force, and that country specializes in Skyhawk updates. In the U.S., The latest versions have a head-up display and angle rate bombing system for much better accuracy in weapon delivery. Apart from the dedicated Marine Forward Air Control version, the twin-seat OA-4M, the Skyhawk has no place in the frontline strength of U.S. forces, but it is still very important in many other countries. Newest of the warplanes of the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps, the McDonnell Douglas FA-18 Hornet is unique in being designed from the start to be equally good at both the fighter and the attack missions. Its task was to replace the F-4 Phantom in the fighter mission and the A-7 Corsair in the attack role, and in both cases to be able to operate from carriers or airfields. The Hornet was derived from the Northrop YF-17 light fighter, and Northrop is now the principal subcontractor. In some respects, including cost and combat radius, the FA-18 did not meet the challenging requirements. But for anyone who wants a single type of all-can-do combat aircraft, there are few that can equal it. The largest missile carried by the Hornet is the AGM-84 Harpoon anti-ship cruise missile, but many other types of missile and ordnance can be carried. Export sales to Australia, Canada, and Spain were won in competition with the F-16, partly because of the FA-18's ability to fire the Sparrow medium-range radar-guided air-to-air missile. Today's FA-18As and Cs can fly a tremendous range of missions carrying many warloads, and do it with just one man in the cockpit. The reason lies partly in the multi-mode pulse Doppler radar, and partly in the outstanding cockpit, which for the first time replaced conventional dial-type instruments by 3 large multifunction color electronic displays. Up to 17,000 pounds of weapons or tanks can be carried on 7 pylons. There is also provision for Sidewinder air-to-air missiles on wingtip rails.